Welcome, guys. So, I have never actually sat down and just started a chat with you guys. So, I thought I'd do a really quick Q&A. I put out a little Instagram story and I thought I'd just go ahead and answer some of your questions. Martin's EDC asks, what got you into Leathercraft? So that's actually a very, very simple question. Is I needed a belt and I was too cheap to go to a store and buy a belt. So I looked up videos how to make belts, where to get buckles, that sort of thing. And that's kind of where it started. I got my first set of tools and the rest is history, I guess. Framelock Knife Nerd asks, or Jonas asks, the best way to clean leather, and should I wait for it to dry before I apply oil? Can I lube while wet? So the quick answer is how do you clean your leather? Don't get it dirty. If you do get your leather dirty, you can clean it with very soft soaps like a Dove soap, or I don't know what the international brands are, but a very soft soap, something that's not that doesn't have any sand particles in it, or that sort of exfoliating type of stuff that you can generally use. And then can you apply wax while it's wet? Do not do that. If you want your leather to mold, that is going to be your number one most detrimental thing to do. Is do not wax or condition your leather while it's wet. Put it outside, not in direct sunlight, but put it outside so the ventilation is good. Get it nice and dry, put some wax on it. Beard on the Ranch asks, what is the one thing you've always wanted to make but have been cuck scared? I wouldn't say I'm scared to, but the thing is I don't necessarily like to make belts. Belts are a very complicated thing to do, and the thing with belts is, one single belt does not necessarily fit every single person, so you have to make a very wide range of them. And I'm currently busy making belts. I have the straps and stuff laying right here to add belts to my lineup, but I've done it in such a way that it's not as daunting, where I don't have to ask a customer's specific belt measurement, where I can just go off of a pant size. So if I'm scared to make anything, it would be belts. Dan October asks, what camera lens do you primarily shooting with? So at the moment, the camera that I'm shooting on right now is a fairly old camera. It's a Canon 200D with a 18 to 135 millimeter f 3.5 to 5.6 lens. It's a very cheap setup. I also have a 24 millimeter I think this is a 2.8 lens, which is a prime lens. It doesn't zoom at all. And then I also shoot with a nifty 50. So I shoot with very, very budget gear. So anything you see on this channel, you can recreate easily yourself. Leper King G asks, what do you foresee as the big thing of 2023 gear-wise? This is a very, very complex question, and it's something that's not answered easily. The answer is I don't know, because trends change so fast. If you look at our social sphere right now, it changes every month. So the next big thing in 2023, I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna do what I feel is big, which at the moment I'm gonna start doing belts. I'm gonna make some knife straps and some odd end kind of EDC stuff. Not necessarily stuff you'll see every day, but I think that's what I'm going to focus on for 2023. Ernie Grobler asks, what is the best way to treat your leather so it stays soft? So the technical term for softness in leather is called suppleness. So if you want to keep your leather supple, meaning soft to the touch, my number one recommendation would be a leather conditioner. A leather conditioner is a thing that moisturizes leather and gives it some sense of sealing. So What I normally do is I just add some owl tree wax. My owl tree wax really works very well in sealing leather and making it softer at the same time, because it's beeswax based. So that's my advice, keeping leather supple. Benno Klink asks, what are the top 5 tools to start off in leathercraft? This is a very easy question. I have this stuff right next to me, so I'll show you. The first one is a proper craft knife. This is just a very expensive, indispensable brass handled knife. You do not need this. This is just an example. You need a very sharp knife. Something that has interchangeable blades maybe for the start will, before you actually learn how to sharpen your own blades, will be a good thing. Maybe replaceable blades. The next thing I would recommend is a steel ruler, and not just a normal steel ruler. Look for the steel rulers that have cork backsides, or if you can't find cork ones and were cheap like me, this is 30 Rand at the China shop. You just line the backside of it with some leather, and if you do that, when you place it on top of some other leather, it doesn't slip around as much. The next thing I would recommend is probably a rotary cutter. So this is a rotary cutter. It's basically a very overpriced pizza cutter. So you essentially, this round circular blade rolls along a line or a ruler, and you get very straight lines with this. If you do not have the skills at the start to cut straight lines with hand, then this is your answer, and it's just much quicker. The next tool I would recommend, this is excluding hammers and that sort of stuff. I mean, I would assume that every household on earth has a hammer, is some edge bevelers. So this is called a Kimmervan Craft edge beveler, and this is the D2 version. The steel that this is made from is D2. And this is really great. An edge beveler is great. I would recommend spending more money on an edge beveler, because the cheaper edge bevelers just can't do the job of a more expensive one. It's much smoother, and in my opinion, it's worth the money, spending a lot more to get a proper edge beveler. The next and last tool I would recommend is probably a stitching pony. So these, you can build these yourself. You don't have to get a fancy one like I did. So this has a little platform here that you can screw to a table. So this sits on a table, and then it has a few knobs and stuff, and this knob here expands the jaws, and if you close it, it pinches your leatherwork. So if you are busy stitching something, you can just easily pinch this and stitch much easier than you would otherwise. Johan van der Sant 8 asks, would you offer workshops in the future for people who want to learn the basics of leatherworking? And the short answer is right now, no, unfortunately. Workshops take an intense amount, or an extravagant amount of planning, getting specific tool sets for your learners to use, and there's just so much planning that goes into creating a workshop. Now, that being said, if you want to come to my workshop and just watch me work for an hour or two, or maybe make something alongside me, I am 100% comfortable with that. So Jonathan Jacobs from Jacobs Knives asks, what do you love most about working with leather? And for me personally, I would say it's the customization, the ability to change literally any aspect of what you're making. So if I make a Horizon wallet, I can put a clip on the back of it, I can take pockets away, I can change the dimensions, I can make it bigger, smaller, wider, whatever. And I think that's kind of the aspect that I love the most. And the other thing is customization of current stuff. So this stitching pony I talked about a little bit earlier, it didn't have leather over the top here, and the little leather indentations here I made myself. So I can customize stuff that otherwise would be not bland, but it would be a bit more personal to me. I mean, if you come to the workshop, you'll see that almost everything has either a leather wrap on it. Even the shelves to my left hand side, these shelves have leather brackets, so I don't use steel brackets. This is just a piece of leather that is screwed at the top and loops around this shelf. So I would say it's the customization aspect of making stuff personal to you. That's what I enjoy most about leather. So Brandon Vortman 1 asks, what's the biggest project you have ever undertaken? I wouldn't say ever, but one of them is sitting right there. I'll get it real quick. So this is definitely one of the biggest projects. And this is just a camp style bag. So everything here, from the straps to the buckles, everything, you know, it's handmade, it's full brass, everything on the inside. I'll show you real quick. This is actually a very big bag. But on the inside I have a little, you probably can't see it, but on the inside there's a little sleeve for a laptop and everything, and this is probably size-wise the biggest project that I've ever undertaken. Alright, so this was just a really quick Q&A. If you have any other questions, please drop them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to you and give you some answers. Go tell someone that you love them. Have a great day. Cheers, guys.